Hello everyone, welcome to Menta. My name is Pranay Sharma and I'll be your lecturer for this term. The topic that we'll be taking into our consideration today is coordinate geometry, and this is going to be session number 1. Let me tell you what exactly the learning outcomes that we have in this session. So by the end of this session, you will be able to know what exactly coordinate system is, and why we are using coordinate geometry in practical life, what all are its implications. This is something and that is going to be very interesting, because if you see this from different angles, or rather I should say, if you have a lateral shift, you'll be able to know that this topic is itself a very vast topic. And in case if you are preparing for JE, then this is something that has a separate entity. All right, this comes under two-dimensional geometry. We'll be having 2D and 3D different classifications by the time when you move to higher grade in mathematics. But yes, this is also something that is very interesting. So let us get this started. As this is going to be an introduction, so I just wanted to understand whether you people know this term longitude and latitude. I'll tell you where exactly we are using this. Now, let us say, suppose if my mobile coverage is not up to the optimum, and suppose if the data operator that I am using is X. All right. So I should be calling the customer care support service of X, and telling them that yes, this is the area where I find it difficult to make a call droppage, severe call droppage. This is something that is continuously happening at that particular location. So how do I tell them? I should be telling them the exact address, but how these guys will be able to follow this? With the help of longitude and latitude. So this is something that you should be using in order to define any precise point on this Mother Earth. Fine. Like for Mumbai, as you can see, 19.0760 degrees north and 72.877 degrees east. So if someone is able to, locate this particular point, then definitely that point will be pointing towards Mumbai. So this is the same case. Each point is defined, demographically with the help of longitude and latitude. And this is something that forms the basis of geography. So this is most commonly used in air traffic control, as well as in forces, right? Be it army, be it any special operation team. So how do we actually, come to know that this is something that gives us a boost in terms of dimensional analysis? That is also a question, right? So we'll be answering all these questions one by one. But before then this, I just wanted you to give uh, what we say, the prerequisites. What exactly do we need in order to have this session continued? As this is going to be a very short topic and a simple topic, so we don't have any, foundation basis. But let me, take this with the help of a different example. Let us move back to our whiteboard and let us see if this example works good or not. So whatever example, that sorry, examples that we have considered two different examples, or rather I should say only one example in two different formats. So these examples will definitely be, giving you somewhat a clarity regarding what we are going to discuss. Anyways, I'll tell you the name of the person who actually, what we say, discovered this, or in rather I should say invented this, right? René Descartes. So that you'll be, finding in your textbooks. But more importantly, what we'll be, having is how someone is going to use this practically. So let us try to have some drawing elements added so that it will look attractive. Okay. Now suppose the fan of my room is not working, right? And imagine yourself when we were in 2020. That time we had COVID, all right? The second wave was prevailing. Not I should not be highlighting this because of multiple what we say unforeseen events. But if we consider that case, that time uh, gathering was not allowed, and if suppose something is to be delivered on doorsteps, then that is also something that is restricted, right? So COVID affected you know the globe multidimensionally. Now, suppose if the fan is not working and I need to contact, let us say, Urban Club. to have the needful done, right? So because no local repairers they or electricians they were able to get themselves out because of multiple restrictions, because of what we say police force barricades and what we say cage formation. So that means many people they are not allowed to cross a particular ghetto from one point to another point. So that is something that was happening. That is we all must have gone through with this phase as well. So urban clap, let us say they are into this, that they have discovered something new, because necessity is always a mother of invention. So we got to know that if we can bring a robotic system into practice and let that robot do all the needful, then that will work good, because by doing this no physical movement of any human will be there, and will ask that counterparty to have all the assembly line in line, so that once will be supplying all the parts to, let us say, some household. So they will be there should be some classified instructions available with them in a box, that this is how you should be assembling a robot, and the robot is trained to get the fan repaired. But how you will be notifying that particular stuff to that robot? So let us say you cannot directly tell that robot that my room is on second floor, and once you'll be finding it you just get that repaired, because we need to be very proactive while dealing with robots or AI. So let us say, okay, I'm not exactly that good with drawing, but I'll try to have one drawing for you. Although it is looking like toffee or chocolate, but let us say this is the fan, right? And it is not working. So I need to instruct, let us say, this robot. I have assembled this robot using the instructions given in the box in which this robot was delivered. I've assembled it, and now I need to tell this robot to get this repaired. Okay, so how I should be telling it? I should be telling this robot in a different format. I'll tell you what it is, and slowly we'll be, arriving to the conclusion. Now, let us say if I tell this robot that in order to reach to the rotor of this fan, rotor is this part, the central part, right? You need to traverse 5 units in, let us say, this direction. I'm calling this as X, and then you should be moving vertically up in Y direction. Let us call this as Y, and let us say 7 units vertically, 5 units horizontally. You'll be able to locate the rotor. So how I should be representing this? I should be representing this in this manner, 5, 7, right? And it has to be closed with the help of parenthesis. Fine. What does that represent? This represents the number of units that someone has to traverse in X direction, and this represents the number of units someone has to traverse in Y direction. Can we use this can we substitute this x with any other variable? No, because this is universally accepted. So we usually call this as x-axis and this as y-axis. Fine. Now, the robot is programmed in this way that robot will be able to locate this, and then once he'll be finding the rotor, he'll start his other duties as per the command that is already being embedded in it, right? So that is why we need this particular system. You cannot tell that robot that this is a rotor, go get this repaired. No, robot will not be able to understand. Right? So this is how AI models work. So this is the basis, right? You cannot have A or B axes. You will always be having X and Y axes, right? The point where these axes are intersecting, they are actually intersecting perpendicularly, and this point is known as origin. All right. O, we usually represent this with O. Here, X will be 0 and Y will also be 0. I hope this point is clear. Now let us move to our slide. Okay. Another example is, suppose if you, you know, you have booked an online ticket for movies, right? And the movie that you have selected is, let us say, Avenger. All right. So this is the practical example that I have taken. Now, the ticket will be, electronic ticket will be in this format. Suppose if someone is, asking you to book, as you can see that screen is on the either side, right? So how you should be, booking the ticket? It is very simple. Once you'll be, selecting your seat, then it will give you a seat matrix. It will give you row along with column. So column is 7 and 8 and row will be A. So this is how you book. All right. This again works on the principle of coordinate system. Okay. So, okay, I'll be moving back to whiteboard again. Now, as you can see that, yes, this is only one part that we have considered. However, originally we have, okay, let me take a different marker. Let's say this is something that we'll be doing with green. So if you consider all the quadrants, right? X-axis can be what we say extended in this direction as well, right? The example that we have considered, we can also extend this x-axis in this direction and y-axis in this direction, right? So that is what I have done here. So if I am doing it in this way, then let us say this represents positive direction of y-axis, and this will give us negative direction of y-axis, which will be represented as y dash, or some people may also call this as y prime. O represents origin. Let us say we have 1, 2, 3, all the positive numbers on this direction, right? And the negative numbers on this direction. What does this negative represents? Only the direction, right? Not the magnitude. Magnitude will always be there. This is just a representation, right? Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. X, and let us represent this with x dash. This will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. Now, suppose if someone is asking you to represent this point 1, 2, right? I'm changing the marker. So that means you need to traverse 1 unit in x direction and 2 unit in y direction. So it always has to be in this format, x, y, and we used to call this as ordered pair. So we will always be writing x first followed by y. All right. And that is why we call this as an ordered pair. So suppose if someone is mentioning like this 2, 3, that means it is understood that first will be x and second will be y. That is why they are ordered, right? They are already ordered. And this is universally accepted. So how do you represent 1, 2? 1 means you need to traverse 1 unit in x direction. It is positive. That means in this direction. All right. So 1 is this, and 2 means you need to traverse in positive direction of y 2. So this is 1, 2. What if I'll ask you to represent -1 and -2, right? So -1 means in negative direction of x-axis, we need to traverse -1 units. That means this. And -2 means in a negative direction of y-axis, we need to go to -2. So this is -1, -2. Now, as you can see that we have 4 different formations. These formations are known as quadrants, and they are named in anti-clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise. So this represents first quadrant, as this is a part. This is 1/4 of a complete unit. This is second quadrant. This is third quadrant. And this will be fourth quadrant. Now, why do we need to have this? Because in order to define something or in order to locate any position as such, we need to have a dedicated mechanism through which we can get a point located in mathematics. And similarly, we can get this used in applications of AI. That is why we need coordinate system, and that is why we need coordinate quadrants, we need ordered pair and everything, right? So this is just a convention that we follow. Let us move to our slides again. So I hope this is clear now, right? Positive y, positive x, and negative y. X-axis is having a different name that is known as abscissa, right? We also call this as x ordinate, and y-axis is having a different name, which is known as ordinate. We also call this as y coordinate. All right. So these are the conventions that I wanted to highlight. What do we understand by coordinate of a point? Coordinates of a point where we have an ordered pair. First will be a representation of x, and second will be a representation of y. All right, x is abscissa and y is ordinate. And all together they will give us coordinates of a point. Fine. Now, a small quiz that I would like to highlight here is a point both of whose coordinates are negative will lie in. Right. So let us move to our whiteboard. We need to give a point both of whose coordinates are in negative quadrant. Fine. Let us say this represents y, y dash, x, x dash. This will be positive, positive. X is positive, y is positive. This will be second. This is first quadrant. Second quadrant is x is negative, y will be positive. In third quadrant, x will be negative, y will be negative. And in fourth quadrant, x will be positive, y will be negative. Right? I hope I'm clear with this. I should be writing this as x comma y. All right. According to the question, a point, both of whose coordinates are negative. So both of the coordinates are negative will lie in third quadrant. All right. So as you can see, I'll be going for a slideshow. So answer is third quadrant. All right. So that is it. We have just discussed the conventions that will be following. In session 2, we'll be solving more questions of this. And in case if you have any doubt, you can mention it, right? We'll be considering that doubt as well in the coming session. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Bye.